I
like how Jade didn't make it to the video. Okay, anyways. Subscribe! Are they better than we thought in Honkai Starbucks? I believe this is specifically pertaining to Boot Cheeks, Yunli, and Jiaoqiu, if I'm not mistaken. Right, take a bit.
What goes on that causes a large number of players to act this way, and this is coming from someone who doesn't particularly over or underhype a character unless it's glaringly obvious, but the Hoyo community has a habit of doom posting the strength and viability of new characters, notably on Reddit. It's been a thing for like ages, so much so that memes get posted across Twitter that go along the lines of "here we go again" and
if you like Genshin Impact, you make a top 10 lake video. Top 10 Netland mountains. Top 10 fish in Genshin Impact. Alright, for my next 20 videos, it will only be Genshin Impact. I love Genshin Impact, by the way. I absolutely love Genshin Impact. Top 5 Netland NPCs. It's gonna be the guy that died. The guy that died. This girl that died. The guy that died. And anyways, yo, continue.
Shows characters that turned out to be really strong, but at the time people thought they were mid. Fair is fair, it's easy for players to be influenced by what they hear online, even a little bit. I myself am guilty of making passing remarks on certain units that get interpreted literally without my intending them to be taken as such. For example, in my I think too many 5 stars video, I made an offhand remark on how considering the quote-unquote unsuccessful characters we've gotten so far throughout version 2 were Jade and Boothill, that's a good thing in terms of consistency. Looking back, I can see how that might have been taken as me saying Jade and Boothill were bad, which is actually the point of this video. At the suggestion of my good buddy LP,
I like how Jade didn't make it to the video. Okay, anyways.
I want to make a video talking about characters that have been misunderstood to be weak, when in reality they're significantly better than public opinion.
So where's Jade? Where's Jade? Jade mains in... Oh wait.
Credit for. I suppose having brought up Boothill, we can talk about him first. Not the most popular character out there on account...
I mean... kind
of him showing out of nowhere at the time he was strip marketed. Even...
Okay, to be completely fair, that was my first impression as well. No one ever knew who he was. We've never seen him ever. So deadass, nobody knew who he was. I'm pretty sure these were your first impressions as well. Because this was definitely mine. Right? Who the fuck is this guy?
During his involvement in the Penacony storyline, he wasn't a major centerpiece either, so overall interest in him wasn't exactly too high, which might be the reason people thought he wasn't good. To his credit, no one ever said he was a garbage unit, but the general consensus was that he wasn't on the same meta-shattering level as Akron and Firefly were perceived. It also didn't help that he came out just before Firefly, leading many to disregard pulling for him on account of them wanting to save up for Best Girl. This was also around the time where sentiments towards single-target DPS were at an all-time low. At the time, Boothill was erroneously perceived as the main actor of the newly emerging Super Break engine, despite not actually having anything related to Super Break at all. He's more of a hyper carry who attacks with break damage than an actual Super Break-oriented character. Granted, he can do that, but it's more of a half and half. In any case, obviously when a new strategy is discovered or implemented, it might take a while for people to realize how good it can be. Much like how the follow-up engine didn't really get anywhere until the IPC team came about. Harmony MC was present, mind you, but Super Break was still a newfound gimmick at the time, and when factoring in what I said earlier about people not really wanting to try him out since they were saving for Firefly, hardly anyone pulled for him. It's common for people—
Oh my fucking god. Yo, Firefly, just jump off.
People to think a character is worse than they actually are if they're unpopular, since logically if a character is good, everyone would use him. Being an exclusively single target character also made him quite polarizing. Between versions 2.1 to 2.4, most players are focused on getting characters who could excel in all 3 game modes, explaining why Archon and Firefly are viewed in such esteem even to this day. By contrast, Boothill's non-existence in pure fiction and the fact that he had no sums of wave clear were quite—
I'm pretty sure Firefly is not that good in pure fiction, right? Like Ezio. Or am I mistaken? Is usable? Okay. Oh, she's a Lingsha support. Yeah, you're right.
Quite detrimental to people's impression of him. However, upon taking a closer look at him, there's a lot of stuff that lends credence to his power. Boothill is the second best DPS character in the game if we're actually measuring it by literal DPS. Akron and Firefly are top tier for their flexibility and coverage, but their actual DPS ceilings aren't necessarily the best. Boothill's the opposite, where he's got one job, but he does that job better than anyone else can. Prior to Fei Shao, he had easily the best DPS against a single target period, making him excellent at speedrunning bosses when played correctly. Here's a noteworthy example. Everyone hates the Aventurine boss fight for having a really tedious mechanic. Boothill is the only character at E0 who can burst him before he enters his dice phase. Pridewind might be more suited for the average player who isn't overly concerned with min-maxing, but if you go down to Boothill's MLC teams, you got your usual 6 cycle, 7 cycle, maybe an 8 cycle here and there, but then randomly you see teams with an average of 2 cycles. You may have also noticed that those parties forego a sustain and just bring full DPS. He really is the definition of they can't hurt me if they're dead, even though he doesn't really get going until you get triple pocket trick shots.
Oh yeah, but this logic can be applied to pretty much any DPS though. Like if you just don't run a sustain, you're almost definitely going to be clearing a lot faster, assuming that you actually clear. Not really just for Boothill.
Once he does get them, he keeps them for the rest of the fight, letting you effectively one-tap everything. And believe it or not, it's actually really easy to get those stacks too. Breaking an enemy or killing them gives him a trick shot, and considering he's all about break damage, breaking a target enemy likely will kill them in the process. So you get 2 stacks with only 1 action. Boothill effectively has to kill just one thing before he can turn attention to the big bad and whoop their ass. Each attack on a broken enemy at full stacks can do damage in the millions with the right equipment. He is the boss killing speedrunner. I think the main thing skewing his perceived value is that he's highly dependent on what he's up against. If you were to come across someone who can lock their toughness gauges, then congrats, you have a worthless unit. And
partner, I reckon I ain't been feeling too very yeehaw lately, you know, I'ma keep it a book. Yes, I don't really feel patriotic today, you know. I'm gonna take on rest, you know. I'm gonna keep. Yo, where the fuck? You know, if I can be kind of honest today, partner, you know, when your partner locks a weakness bar, you know, I just don't really think I should do a lot of purpose, you know. Yeah, I think I gotta have to sit this one out. Yep. Yeah, it is what it is, you know. Hey, do this one without me. I'm gonna see you guys next week. Absolutely.
Of course, he's completely irrelevant and pure fiction. Full admission, I also didn't think of him too highly since I myself prioritize coverage over efficiency for characters, but if there's anyone in Honkai Star that people need to give a second look at, it would be him. While most DPS units have a pressure range of 80 to like 120%, Boothill is more like 0 to 150. He reminds me of ADC mains in League. They're either useless or they 1v9 games. My assessment of him before was that he was a decent character, but in all actuality...
You know what, Vars... Okay, first of all, it's crazy to put Zeri as the face of ADC mains instead of like Jin or Kaisa. That's crazy. Second of all, great analogy.
He deserves to have the same market value as Firefly. Circumstances and lack of character appeal...
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna say no. And this is not because I think Boothill is worse than Firefly. This is just simply because majority of player base, they are more comfortable with Firefly. Nobody's gonna bother learning about Ego 4-piece Boothill running the sustainless combo and just go and one-shot enemy. They would rather just have a unit that can implant 5 winners and play on full auto and just kill everything. So for the general player base, I honestly wouldn't recommend this. Like if you don't know what the fuck you're doing, you might as well just use Firefly. So actually I don't agree with this statement. Yep.
It'll make him look worse than he actually is. In a similar fashion, Yunli is one other character who had a fairly mellow reception. Coming off the tail end of Penacony, which is the main storyline of version 2, people don't really care too much about units who come after the fact because a lot of them are considered filler, unless of course it's someone highly anticipated like...
Still the only character that... Okay, one of the only 2 units I skipped in Honkai Starbucks and the only unit that I actually regret skipping. I didn't put for Jade. Who the fuck cares? I do quite regret not putting for Yunli. Because I think back then there was a period where we were kind of... Wait, why did we skip? Oh, right, because Wandering Waves came out, I think. It was a Wandering Waves patch. Now I was kind of locked out of Honkai Starbucks. I was like cheating on Honkai Starbucks with like Wandering Waves, with like Yingling and all that. So for that period of time, I didn't really play that much. But oh my god, yeah, we're gonna next review.
Like where the hell are Squirrel?
Oh, Zenless Zone 0? It was Zenless Zone 0? Oh, it was Zenless Zone 0? Oh, okay, yeah. Whatever the case it is, I was just not into Honkai Starbucks.
Oh, yo, SMH my head. Basically, just like Boothill, Yunli was a character who came out of nowhere without much build-up or previous exposure. That and being a physical destruction unit centered around counterattacks is a niche we've seen before in the form of Clara. Another integral component for character appeal is if they fulfill a role the roster is in desperate need of. For example, people love Aventurine because apart from being the only person who makes the word friend sound evil and creepy, we were in desperate need of more shielders in the game. Yunli, on the other hand, doesn't check off any box in terms of necessity. Having a roundabout way to deal damage can be interpreted negatively as well. Counterattacks are inherently unreliable in the sense that you can't access them at will. Enemies have to attack Yunli for her to strike back. That leaves you open to a lot of potential risks, such as what happens if enemies deal more damage than she can reliably tank, or what if their attacks come across.
That almost never happens. Who's Yunli is getting one shot by... That almost never happens. I don't think that's ever happened, unless your Yunli is just like 1 HP.
Control, in which case Yunli won't be able to fight back. Worse yet,
cleanse better.
What would happen if the enemy team just doesn't attack them much? Those
get E6.
are all what-if scenarios that regular attackers don't have to worry about. They would much rather prefer if the enemy never took their turn at all. Those concerns are justified, but that doesn't always result in an inferior character. There can be significant advantages to playing around this playstyle, which Yunli demonstrates in full force. I got a bit of flack in my top 10 best characters video for including Yunli because people thought it was new character bias or something, but at the time of recording, Yunli sits in the apex tier of all 3 game modes, not tier 0 mind you, but 0.5 is still...
Okay, wait, chat, I actually want to bring up like a potential... Okay, I'm just cooking, right? I'm just cooking. I'm just theoretically speaking. Because at the end of the day, your end game for Honkai Star Wars is always going to be dependent on what MiHoYo wants to go. If they want to push for Super Break, they will push for Super Break. For example, Exo Toughness is Memory of Chaos, and if another unit gets Exo Tough, you know, they will always trying to push for the archetype that will best help their character sales. And I would say that the whole Exo Toughness mechanic, it is not that good for counters, because that means they are going to be broken, which means they can't counter. And unless you have Hule, which I attacks you like 1 billion times, and the toughness bar is like very, very big, it will kind of depend the direction they want to go. Because I'm predicting, right, probably the patches for Reba and then going into Sunday and Fugue, they'll really, really hone in on break again. It will be break again. Just you need to break. And whenever they are broken, then the counter frequency will be slower. Full for thought.
Top tier. You could attribute that to each game mode cycle currently.
Oh, counter would be diabolically good against units at your party, yeah? Like units that have the immunity to weakness broken, like your toughness being locked, like Japart, Trotter, or any of those units. When MiHoYo actually does that, it will do 2 things. First of all, it will fuck every single Super Break believers in the ass. All Super Break believers, they'll be in shambles. They'll quit the game because they decided their entire life they only play Super Break. So the moment they actually introduce toughness lock enemies, they have no idea what to do. Right? And the second thing, these will allow units such as Yunli, the counters, to perform a lot better because now they can actually move. Maybe, just maybe, even DOT could see something, you know, just maybe. Because DOT doesn't really care if they are broken or not. Even though if you break them with like wind or electric, you can get the additional break DOT. But it's not as significant compared to like a break team, right? So one day, chat, one day.
Currently favoring her, but I'll remind you that Yunli is a follow-up attacker. Counters are registered as follow-ups, meaning anything that was to benefit the follow-up engine also benefits her, giving her no shortage of infrastructure to maximize her damage. All of Yunli's counters are blast attacks, giving her naturally good wave clear since every 1 attack against her results in 3 strikes back. Bosses are starting to reach a point where they take multiple attacks. No doubt we've all been made aware of the insane speed creep of bosses like Hule.
Not even just the speed, bitch is 240 toughness. For context, your elite is 100 toughness. Bro is 2.5 elites. Okay, 2.4 elites. Absolutely diabolical toughness bar.
Will likely continue to power creep enemy attack frequency to match the power creep of our attack frequency, consequently giving Yunli even more power over the long run. Another advantage counterattackers have is that getting hit regenerates energy in Starl. It's not unusual for Yunli to have almost infinite uptime on her ultimate if she takes enough hits. Back in version 1, people used to say that Clara had potentially the highest DPS ceiling in the game in the right circumstances. Yunli is Clara who can engineer those circumstances more consistently, making that theoretical insane DPS ceiling.
Clara is still fine, guys. Clara is still an excellent champion, right? Clara is fine. It's fine. It's like the whole Arlecchino and Hu Tao thing, right? They are the same damn thing, right? You can clear with anything. It's completely fine. It's fine.
And achievable in practical settings. One major thing that really helps her consistency is that even if she doesn't get hit, her A2 trace enables her to still force out the empowered counterattack anyway.
Wait, does it champion?
Ideally, you want to get into it /call 24/7, but she does have a built-in failsafe to mitigate your DPS loss just in case. In totality, this kit does damage, lots and lots of damage. Best of all is that she can play with either hyper carry or follow-up supports. I've seen Yunli parties where she goes Tingyun and Sparkle, and I've also seen parties where she goes Topaz and Robin. People greatly underestimated Yunli when she came out, and I've also seen parties where she goes Topaz and Robin.
Second, just because of this butter bitch right here. Because of this butter bitch right here, it just, you know, it is what it is, you know. It is what I rise up to.
People greatly underestimated Yunli when she came out. I have a feeling she could slowly creep into tier 0 in the near future. If there was a way we could attack her with our own units, like instead of Huohuo attacking an enemy, she can attack Yunli instead, or
what the fuck? Huehue's rebellious face. She attacks her own teammates. Man, fuck this shit. Bong just fucking slaps Yunli across her face. Oh, that would be crazy though. Imagine allowing your own teammates to attack your own units. That's absolutely fucking crazy.
Having Topaz intentionally sack Numbi on Yunli, then that would be the funniest meme comp in the entire game.
That's crazy.
Their character is going to be Jiaoqiu, like the previous two, prevailing
Jiaoqiu. The big Pella. The 5-star Pella. Ooh, the last bit of copium for DOTs back in the days. DOT user, oh my god, it's a fire thing with bird. Holy fuck, it's gonna change everything for DOT. Let's see.
Jiaoqiu a fairly mild rating, calling him a 5-star version of Pela, and I mean, they're not wrong. He's an upgrade to Pela, but like a 5-star version of a really good 4-star is a big deal. 5-star characters have a bigger power budget than 4-stars, and likely also have more capabilities too.
Yeah, so for example, you are comparing E6 Pela to E0 Jiaoqiu, but have you heard of the strongest item in the entire game? E4 Jiaoqiu, ladies and gentlemen. 15% attack debuff, holy fucking shit. You don't even need a sustain anymore. When you get the E4 Jiaoqiu, he is basically your healer. He is basically your healer. You will take 0 damage with that absolutely diabolical E4. I would like to see E6 Pela do that. I like to see an E6 Pela get there, right? So get your E4 Jiaoqiu today, get your E4 Jiaoqiu today, absolutely.
Considering one of the best units in the game to this day is Akron, anything resembling a sizable upgrade to her best-in-slot party is alone a good
There has already been whispers on the street. There has been whispers on the street like, oh, Akron fell off. Akron fell off. Akron fell off. Shame. Shame. Do you guys watch Game of Thrones? Shame. Let's see.
incentive. Furthermore, Jiaoqiu is the measurable upgrade over Pela for Akron. He can apply debuffs more frequently than Pela can, which is good for stacking up Akron's ultimate. And he has bonus ultimate damage and vulnerability. The form in which Jiaoqiu's debuff takes is also worth making a distinction over. Increased damage taken affects the same things that defense reduction does, but calculation-wise, damage taken is consistent overall, while defense only gets big when it's in high quantities. More importantly, he can cover more bases than he lets on. First, bonus ultimate damage doesn't just help Akron, it can help anyone who depends on ultimates for damage. Argenti, for instance, or Yunli. Yunli's counters are considered.
Oh, wait, by the way, a quick little knowledge tip, right? Yo, write this down, class. Write this down. Quick little knowledge tip. So, defense down, right? The more you stack on, the more damage you do. Res down, which is your resistance, the more the enemy is resistant, the more damage you do. So if you're using res down against enemy that's like imaginary res, then your imbibitor will do more damage. Vulnerability is just straight up that damage times whatever vulnerability it is. It is just, at any point of time, it is just that. So it is the neutral category. So one is neutral, one is like going against the enemy that you're weak against, and one is the more you on the one. Alright, so that's basically it.
Ultimate damage. Jiaoqiu has a lot more presence than simply being a step up over Pela. Second, with his playstyle revolving around continuous debuff application, he's best in slot for Dr. Ratio, whose DPS hinges on getting as many debuff sources on a target as possible.
What?
Best in slot for Dr. Ratio, whose second, with his playstyle revolving around continuous debuff application, he's best in slot for Dr. Ratio, whose
There's no way Jiaoqiu is best in slot for Dr. Ratio. There's no way. The fucking ultimate damage does like nothing for him. Nah, there's just no way.
DPS hinges on getting as many debuff sources
He is, it was just a line for
on
fun.
a target as possible. It's not a rogue
Alright, we'll try after this.
strategy either, it's a highly competitive one. And of course, Ashen Rose constituting damage over time means he has room in dot teams. I know in my recent video on dot, I mentioned how Jiaoqiu has a hard time finding a spot in Cactus Swan team.
It's hella cold, by the way. E0 Kafka, E0 Blackstone, E0 Jiaoqiu, you run a sustain. I'd rather just run Robin. Robin and Rame literally does more than Jiaoqiu at Ezio.
Because he has to fight with Ranmei and Robin, but in that video, I also did say that if we had a more appropriate sustain unit for dot teams, then a case could be made for Jiaoqiu
like a E4 Jiaoqiu.
So working with the two. One last thing is, if you're in a pinch, technically he can also be a niche support for break teams. His damage amplification is one of the few buffs that increase break damage.
Okay, this could happen. It technically could, because he does a decent chunk of toughness bar, right? All his shit is AoE, his ultimate. It could happen, and technically vulnerability also affects your break damage. But we are getting another Fire Nihility, Foxian, and she has a Boba. So theoretically speaking, if we are getting another version of this, and then she does more than like if she offers something different, then we are probably not gonna be seeing Jiaoqiu in this, right? She just okay. Anyways, that's
break teams. His damage amplification is one of the few buffs that increase break damage. Plus, if you get his weapon, that's an extra 24%, a notable increase. The only roadblock in that department is you really don't want to replace either Harmony MC or Runmei, so you can try your luck in a sustainless super break team by replacing Gallagher, assuming you don't have Lingsha, that is.
Just pull Lingsha. Get yourself a Lingsha. Get E1 Lingsha. Hey, you know what? Hey, fuck Fuke, fuck Sunday. Hey, fuck. Get your E1 Lingsha. This is not financial advice, absolutely.
One final thing to mention is that being an AoE debuffer, Jiaoqiu is in prime position to capitalize on a double carry meta if it were to ever come into full force. But
it will never happen, you know why? Because there's Robin. The day where if there's a day that Jiaoqiu will ever be viable, a Robin will always be. She'll cut Jiaoqiu's Q. Whoop, hey, my bad, and it's just fucking. She's like the Amazon Prime. She's Amazon Prime, and Jiaoqiu is Amazon normal, right? So it is what it is.
Bottom line is that Jiaoqiu, like Yunli, has extreme potential to get better in the future. He's not just a 5-star Pela, he's a lot more than that. A borderline top tier character, if not already top tier, who will most certainly be the further in we go. I think he has the potential to be just as invaluable as the Harmony trio given time. Alright,
Okay, wait. Okay, as we know, this is not gonna be the case anymore when Sunday comes out. Alright, Sunday is gonna be our first ever male Harmony unit. Now, I don't know what Sunday does. Right? I have no idea what it does. But before even considering Jiaoqiu to be in the leads of the big mommies, right? We need to first see what Sunday has to do first. If Sunday's kit looks, good, looks optimistic by the time he comes around by version 5 and all that kind of stuff, there will be quite a lot to compete. If you're running dual DPS, 1 support, 1 sustain, I would choose Robin every time. There's no role I would choose Jiaoqiu over Robin. If you're running DOT, I will still choose Robin every time. If you're running Break Team, I will choose Rame every time. If you're running Hyper Carry, I don't know what, because Sundays, we don't know. Okay, chat, we don't know whether Sunday will be a Hyper Carry support or a team support, but taking a look at the goddamn relic set, the Sacredo set, it is literally built for Sunday. It is quite literally Sunday's clothes. And it is a hyper carry support set. So I feel that I can say with 95% confidence, Sunday is probably going to be a hyper carry support, right? So in that scenario, if you want a hyper carry support, and it's a fucking version 2.7 support, I feel Sunday might be taking that spot. He's not really 5-star Pela, but he's like an Aircron support. He's like, if your Aircron is the if your Aircron is the Jin, then your Jiaoqiu is the Pike. If your Aircron is the Jin, your Jiaoqiu is the Pike. If your Aircron is the Kaisa, then your Jiaoqiu is the Leona. If your Aircron is the Sona, your Jiaoqiu is the Seraphim, right? And for every other team con, I just think that these other supports probably hold a higher inherent value. The Nami to my Lucian, and there it is, right? So,
alright, last one I want to talk about.
Yep, chat. In case you guys couldn't tell, I do not play bowling. I have no idea what support goes with what ADC, so yeah.
Is a newly minted Lingsha, even though she just came out, they're giving her the same treatment as units like Jiaoqiu and Black Swan. You guys remember when Doom posters were saying Black Swan was only like 5% better than Sampo, or
whoever said this, mods, find them and kill them.
or Hua Hua was a side grade to Locha? Same thing here. Several people on Twitter, Reddit, and such had the same argument that Lingsha is only 5% better than Gallagher. I can somewhat understand where this idea comes from.
Who the fuck is saying this?
The conspiracy theory behind it is that people intentionally downplay a character in the hopes that with sufficient Doom posting, Hoyo might buff them, which, you know what, I can get behind that.
Oh, you know what? That's actually a really big brain move. You know what? Hey, wait. From now on, we are only gonna Doom post. Oh my god, this character sucks. Every single time, we're just gonna keep saying this character sucks so that they can buff every single unit come out. I think this is a pretty big brain move. Yeah, that's good.
Let's all Doom post the real Tingyun if she's ever confirmed to be alive, please. Thanks.
Tingyun just sucks ass, I mean, like, at this point, oh my gosh, just serves zero purpose. Why would I want another fire entity when we already have the best in slot fire entity, Jiaoqiu? She's just way too weak right now. Just not enough. She better when Tingyun comes out, she needs to have a team-wide not 100% because that's bumping. Let's have a team-wide 50% action value advance. Let's have a 50% defense down. Let's have a 40% res penetration, and then and only then she can compete with the big boys, right? At this point, she's just a little bit way too weak. I don't know. Alright, it's just not good enough.
But in all seriousness, from a cost-effectiveness point of view, I get it. Even if it was a 50% increase in value from what currently exists, you're better off conserving your Jades for someone who can give you a 100% increase in value, such as if you're missing, say, a Venturine for the follow-up engine. There's really no one who can do the same thing he can for that specific role. Whereas yes, Lingsha is a break sustain which overlaps with Gallagher, and the difference is not so overwhelming that you're shooting yourself in the foot if you use Gallagher over Lingsha. But that doesn't change the fact that Lingsha's a f***ing busted character in a busted engine. She has passive healing thanks to it being tied to a...
Okay, I feel that the whole Lingsha Gallagher thing, even if she was like he mentioned, even if she was 1,000,000,000% better than Gallagher, at the end of the day, it's always about opportunity cost. We don't have I've said this in my CN video as well. We don't have a 4-star Aventurine, right? We don't have a 4-star Huan Huan. So they are literally the only one to have, and it makes a team like infinitely better. So if you pull for especially at E0 as your Lingsha, I'm not exactly sure if it's gonna be worth your Stellar Jades, especially if you have an E6 Gallagher.
Someone who can act autonomously, which comes with an AoE cleanse by the way. In regards to healing, Gallagher's actually not the best at it, you mostly take him for damage. Lingsha has the damage, along with sustain on par with the likes of Huohua and Luota. Thanks to one of her passive traces, her summon will activate instantaneously at any point a party member's HP drops below 60%, giving her a Luota type insurance policy, except it applies to the entire team, not just one person. Thankfully.
Okay, wait, before I continue. Okay, chat, think for a second. Does your break team encounter a lot of sustain issues? Firefly has built-in heals. Your Ranmei and Harmony Trailblazer, usually you should be running them on defensive substats. And if you run a slow Ranmei, which is the best Ranmei, there's more defensive substats. Or rather main stats. Compared to a traditional hypercarry where like a lot of them are a lot squishier, right? They're hunt, they don't have the self-sustain, the supports are fucking squishy because they're trying to... So, I feel like... Or not to mention the fact that break itself extends the time the enemy stays broken, which means they don't even hit you. So... Me personally, I feel that for a break team, if there is one team that any beginners can go for a sustainless, it's probably gonna be break team. Like, it has the lowest barrier to entry for any beginners to try to step their foot into a sustainless category, right? So we already seen this from like Firefly, Himeko, Harmony Trailblazer, Ranmei. No sustain. Because the enemies just stay broken for so long, and your team is like almost inherently bulky. Your Harmony and Ranmei, they are inherently bulky, and Firefly is also pretty bulky. So the survival issue you face with a break team, I would say, is gonna be not as significant compared to any of your other teams, right? So
even if she herself is crowd controlled, Fuyuan can act autonomously. AoE heal and cleanse along with break damage, not to mention being a summoner, which has been getting more attention as of late. Once more, if I don't sound like a broken record at this point, Lingsha's another one of those units who start out in a good spot and additionally have lots of room to get even better in the future. It reminds me of Topaz. When she came out, people were quick to label her as a meh character, but as a follow-up engine...
I mean, it is true though. When she came out, she was meh. There was nothing wrong with saying Topaz was meh. It's fine, guys. If she's meh now, doesn't mean she's meh forever, right? Meh. Yeah, so like if she's meh now, it's okay.
Expanded over time. She got better and better and better and better to the point where she's top tier.
Yeah, then now you proof her or rerun. You know, it's complete.
In like every game mode. Yes, even pure fiction. I think at her lowest point, Topaz was like tier 2.5 or something. Lingsha and by extension Yunli and Total are very much the same way. They're good enough as they are right now, but their real strength is yet to be seen. The overall message behind this video is that I think a number of players have this misconception.
Imagine if like for your break team in the future, you run like instead of running Firefly, Harmony MC, Ranmei, and Lingsha, you just run Firefly, Harmony MC, Ranmei, and like another break support. Hypothetically speaking.
Character needs to be amazing right from the get-go, like your Acrons, your face shells, and whatnot. Would it be nice? Absolutely, but sometimes it takes a while for the right amount of infrastructure to be put in place. Kafka didn't become good until Black Swan came out several months later.
Ooh. Rest in peace, my bitch.
Topaz and Ratio needed to wait until Aventurine and Robin before they could really start beating people down.
Okay, wait, nah. Ratio was good on release, by the way. Ratio was diabolically good with Ting Yun and Pella. He was very, very good for them. I still remember there was a lot of Ratio Zero Cycles back then. Not follow-up at all. Just pure hyper carry Dr. Ratio. Blood was just one-shotting everything. I still remember it was the stage with the Centicus Medicus, the disciple, with the horse. Bro just one-shots everything. And then when the Memory Zone meme, you guys know what stage I'm talking about, right? It was the Memory Zone meme stage when it first came out. And then the motherfucker had fire and imaginary Venus. So back then, people were choosing to just go all in hypercarry Ratio, fuck the Topaz, and he just one-shots everything. Because when the guy gets the second phase, you get free energy back, and you just one-shot everything Ratio. So, he was good. Nowadays, maybe not so much.
Now, are these characters must-pulls? No. But I stand by the belief that they're a lot better than people
pulls? You didn't get a free Ratio?
Give them credit for. Boothill was always insanely good, people just never gave him a chance, myself included. Meanwhile, Yunli, Jiaoqiu, and Lingsha are good as they are now and have a lot of potential to get better. So let's see what the rest of version 2 will offer. Anyway, what are your thoughts on these?
Alright, before we wrap up this video, yeah?
So let's see what the rest of version...
Before we wrap up this video, let's see what do we think the rest of version 2 has to offer. Because we are reaching the end of version 2, going towards the start of 3.0, right? Me personally, Sunday, probably 90, like I mentioned just now, based on the 4-piece set that we got, 95% probably a hyper carry support, right? 95% probably a hyper carry support. That being said, our current endgame content now is not really that friendly towards hyper carry compared to super break and follow-up. So by the time Sunday's rotation comes around, they would definitely have to change the the end game content that we are facing, right? Because the meta is basically what enemies we're facing. So maybe by the time Sunday rolls around, they will start developing new stages, new enemies that can, you know, really start favoring hyper carry and make hyper carry become the flavor of the month again. That's where I think Sunday's very, because as it stands right now, even if Sunday, let's just say Sunday was like a Sparkle and he offered more utility than Sparkle for a hyper carry, you would still, or rather, okay, maybe not, but me personally, I would still run Super Break and follow up for side 1, side 2. Respectively. Then for Apocalyptic Shadow, they have their own set of things. Pure Vision, you have Jade, you have Herda Himiko. So like, it doesn't really change that much, but it will definitely change if we change the endgame enemies, right? So that's what I thought on Sunday. Fuke. Now I have no idea if she's gonna make DOT great again. Maybe she makes DOT great, or she's gonna be another like a break support or whatever. This one is way too far. So chat, do you guys know that Fuke, assuming that it's on a 3-week rotation, right? Because it's every 3 weeks. Assuming that it's 3 weeks every single unit, Fuke comes out exactly on the 25th of December. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. 25th December, Wednesday, she comes out exactly on fucking Christmas morning. I shit you not. MiHoYo planned this perfectly, alright? They're gonna fucking drive her sales all the way up to the goddamn stratosphere with the Christmas Day 1 banner on the morning of 25th of December. Deadass. If it goes by every single 3 weeks, right? Literally reborn like goddamn G's. That's crazy, right? So I'm just saying, for a unit that's coming out on Christmas and Christmas Day, and she has been hyped up so much, she better break some metas, right? She better start breaking some crazy metas, right? That's me personally. All purely speculation. No idea what she does, but yep. And finally, Rapper. Alright, finally, Rapper. She does perform exceptionally well with the Exo Toughness mechanic. Because Rapper does have energy issues when it comes to getting that 10 energy from the talent every time you break a target. And this can be triggered by Exo Toughness. So, in the future, if we were to get more Exo Toughness mechanics that can, you know, make Rapper maintain this very niche advantage that she has over out of break TPS, I think Reba would do very well, right? And I'm pretty damn sure if we are gonna be getting a imaginary pure fission stage, she's gonna completely pop off. She will completely pop off. Especially, honestly, any imaginary winner stage, I think she's gonna completely pop. And if we were to, you know, just wait for the Exo Toughness and then we'll see what's up, right? So those are my 3 thoughts on the 3 upcoming units for version 2.6 and 2.7. Okay, and to summarize everything real quick. Boothill, I still don't recommend casuals getting Boothill over Firefly, just because Firefly is a lot easier to play than Boothill. And that is an objective truth. You can't tell me otherwise. Alright. Yunli, I regret not pulling. I got distracted by Zenla Zone Zero. I got distracted by Grace and Rena's giant tits. I didn't really log in during Yunli's, but I wish to play Yunli. And yeah, I'll be looking forward to see the day where counter meta can rise up again. Right? And finally, Jiaoqiu, me personally, I still think he's basically tied to an Aircron bot. If you don't have Aircron, his purpose is not that much, especially with the substitute we have in terms of Robin, in terms of Ramei, in terms of all the follow-up teams, Rachel. No Aircron, I think Jiaoqiu is not on it, right? Lingsha, in my opinion, E0S0, probably not worth your pulls if you already have a Gallagher, because you can do everything that a Gallagher does. And even if Gallagher doesn't sustain as well as Lingsha, you don't really need to sustain that much for a break team, right? So, yep, that's my thoughts for Lingsha. Leave your thoughts down in the comments below. Word of the day is gonna be 4. Join Twitch, join YouTube, join Discord, join TikTok, and join Twitter. All the best for catch up pools. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.